A quorum being present, this meeting duly delivered by the constables. I'm going to call this special town meeting to order. I'd like to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, which is going to be given to us by Selectman Coughlin. Sorry.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Also, since Veterans Day was just yesterday, would all veterans please stand to be recognized? Thank you for your service. All right. So I want to start the meeting off. I'm going to read some rules in a little bit, but I just want to start off by making sure that if it becomes necessary, the police chief and the accountant, and I think that's all we need to take. Oh, and this guy right here, town. What are you anyway? Administrator. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I got a million things going on in my mind at this point, so it's like, excuse me. So if there's no objections, by unanimous consent, I would like to allow these individuals, if necessary, to speak to town meeting. Is there any objection? Hearing no objection, they are allowed to speak at this town meeting. All right. So what I'd like to do is just start, as I always do, with the rules, and then I'm going to go through the details about using the clickers or the keypads or whatever it is you want to call them. Okay, so there are limits to debate. If there is any debate, you have 2 minutes to speak. I'm just going to go through this real quickly. Most of you know this already. Let's see. Please don't be rude, disrespectful, or otherwise. Applauding, cheering, booing, is prohibited. And if you don't stop, I will ask you to leave. All debate or questions are directed to me, the moderator. The previous question, I'm not going to even go through that. If the previous question is made and adopted, debate will stop and we will vote on everything that's there. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that either. Okay, let's just go right to the voting buttons. And this is where it's going to get fun. All right. So, hang on one second. Sorry. When it comes time to vote on any of these articles, this is pretty much what you're going to see. You're going to see the wording of the article and the vote tallies. That's all you're going to see. Okay. However, at this point, we want to make sure that all the clickers, all the keypads are working properly because we want your vote to be recorded. Okay. So I'm actually going to put up a screen with basically the same motion. But there's going to be what's called a participant grid. These are all the keypads, and it actually goes up to 350. You can see there's 4 pages of keypads, but hopefully we're within the 1 to 50. So I think we'll be able to take care of this with this one screen. Okay, so this is so let me explain the keypads. So the keypads in the first place, they fall asleep. So it's kind of, if you click them once, they'll wake up. And you can do that right now. There's a little display, just click it, and there should be a ladder that's there. At the top of the screen, there's also, the little bars that tell you whether or not it's throwing a signal. This is the receiver right up here, so everybody can see that. Okay? And so when when it comes time to vote, okay, let's see. I'm gonna go back to my script here because I'm gonna forget something. So all you need to do to wake them up is to press the yes or no button. If you press either of these buttons when the polling system is closed, you will see a letter. Have all of you seen a letter? Yeah. Okay, so good. So they're all working. If you didn't, there'd be a problem, and you'd have to go to the and get another one at the registrar's table. No vote will register unless the poll is open. The poll opens when I, the moderator, open it. So when it comes time to vote, I will say, the poll is open, please vote. At that time, you will then vote, okay? And when it comes time to, and then when I think you've had enough time to vote, I will then say, if you have not voted and wish to, please vote now as I am about to close the poll. And then I will close the polls, okay? And I will announce that the poll is now closed. When I close the poll, the tally will show on that original screen that I showed you earlier, and will indicate whether the motion has passed or failed. When the poll is open, you press your choice, your button of choice. There's two of them, yes or no. Okay. When you press that button, you'll see a 1 or a 2. 1 for yes, 2 for no. There will also be at some point a little word OK at the top. When that OK appears, your vote will have been recorded and received up here. That's what that OK means. It means your vote has now been recorded. Anytime that the poll is open, you can change your vote. So you can, and we'll test them, but you can vote yes, and then, oh, I changed my mind, and vote no. As long as the poll is open, the last key that you press will be the one that is recorded. Is that clear? Okay. All right. So let's give this baby a shot. Okay. So I am going to, as you saw, the question is that the town vote to make the town fruit. Okay, the town fruit, the apple. Okay. All right. So are we? I am now going to open the polls. You may vote now. So cast your votes, and you can see the tally is starting to rise. You can also see some of these numbers are changing shades. Okay. I'll even vote mine so that they're all. So it took me a while to get this thing to actually work. Okay. So look at the back of your thing and your keypad, and there should be a number. If your number is highlighted up here, your keypad works. Has everybody's worked? Yep. Excellent. All right, and that's what you're going to see. This is the last time you're going to see this grid. Okay, you will not see this grid ever again. I also wanted to let you know that all votes will be totally anonymous. Okay, even though we have your clicker number back there next to your name, these votes, there's a setting up here in the software that I can set it so that the votes are anonymous. Is that all clear? Everybody happy with that? Good, and if you're not, well, too bad. And so I will then say the vote is now, is there anyone else that would like to vote who has not yet voted? I'll pause. The polls are now closed, okay? And you'll see the votes will tally, okay? And it'll tell you whether or not the motion is passed or whether it has failed. You can see up there, the rule up there is a majority. If it's a 2/3 vote, it will actually indicate up there in that corner that it's a 2/3 vote, and it'll automatically calculate whether the 2/3 has been adopted or not. Are we clear? All right. I don't think there's anything more to this. And I'm not going to have to go to keypad test 2. So I got to change my settings here. Give me one moment. Okay. So Article 1. Oh, we ready? Sorry, hang on. Yes, why don't you go, wait a minute. Okay, go ahead, make your motion.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town transfer $26,980.07 from free cash to fund the implement the cost items of the first fiscal year of the collective bargaining agreement between the town of Brookfield and the police union beginning in FY24.
Motion has been made that the town vote to transfer $26,980.07, I think you said, from free cash to fund and implement the cost items of the first fiscal year of the collective bargaining agreement between the town of Brookfield and the police union beginning fiscal year 2024.
Second.
There is a second. So we now have a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion on the motion to spend $26,980.07 for the union contract? Hearing no further discussion, I am now going to open the polls. The polls are now open. Please vote. Has everyone voted that wishes to vote? I am now going to close the polls. The motion has been adopted 30-0. Article 2.
Mr. Moderator,
Yes.
I move that the town transfer $400,000 from free cash to roof stabilization account for the purposes of funding a new roof for the elementary school.
A motion has been made that the town will vote to transfer $400,000 from free cash to the roof stabilization account for the purposes of funding a new roof for the elementary school. Is there a second? Did I hear a second?
Second.
There's a second. Okay. Is there any discussion on the motion? Okay. The polls are now open. Please vote. Has everyone voted that wishes to vote? The polls are now going to be closed. The polls are closed. The tally is 27-3, 27 yes, 3 no. The motion carries by a majority. Article number 3.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town revoke Article 23 of the June 1st, 2023 annual town meeting, establishing an opioid settlement fund, special purpose stabilization fund, and transfer all remaining funds into opioid settlement special revenue account.
Motion has been made that the town revoke Article 23 of the June 1st, 2023 annual town meeting, establishing an opioid settlement fund, special purpose stabilization fund, and transfer all remaining funds into the opioid settlement special revenue account. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, the motion has been moved and seconded. You can see it does require a 2/3 vote, and if you look up on the top of the screen there, it also says that it requires a 2/3 vote, just so you know that that it's doing that. Is there any discussion on the motion? Could you please address the mic just so that everybody can hear you?
Just like a little background on what this particular opioid settlement fund, special purpose stabilization fund is or was, and why it needs to be transferred.
Through you, Mr. Moderator, Laurie Barkas, Town Accountant. We had been receiving funds through the state of Massachusetts via the opioid settlement that had passed through Massachusetts. Originally, when we started receiving the funds, the guidance from the state was that if a town did not set up a special stabilization fund, that with all the funds would go directly into the general fund, closing to free cash. We did that at the June 23 town meeting. Since then, in December of 2023, the state revised their guidance and said they would prefer towns not have special stabilization funds and rather have the towns use just special revenue accounts. So they have asked that everyone who did a special stabilization fund revoke the authorization and transfer the balance into a special revenue fund, which just requires that we don't have to go to town meeting to use the funds. So the balance in the account will just go into a special revenue fund.
So the government gave us some guidance, and this is why we're doing this. Any further discussion? And I'm not trying to belittle the accountant. That was a very good explanation of what's going on there. So I'm not trying to, I'm just kind of, okay. Is there any further discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none. The polls are now open. Please vote. Has everyone voted who wishes to vote? I am now going to close the polls, I think. The polls are now closed. The vote has been tallied, and the result is 27-4, 2/3 voting in the affirmative. The motion is adopted. There being no further business before this special town meeting, I'm calling it adjourned. Thank you very much for being here. Oh, before you go, make sure you drop in your clicker or your keypad up in the boxes that the registrars are holding at the door. And please go out that door so that, don't try and sneak out without it. And we'll catch up to you sooner or later because we know where you live.